Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Mole Trap here, bringing you the semifinals of the IOPS Star League from 2005. We got NaDa on the left, the Genius Terran, the Otter Terran, versus GoRush on the right, the Management Magician. I just learned is his nickname as well. Both very solid players. We're going to get right into game number one here. This is a best of 5. It's been best of 3 in the quarterfinals. We got a best of 5 coming up here. So this is going to be an exciting series, I think. NaDa versus GoRush. This is going to be absolutely amazing to watch. Remember, GoRush is... We gotta... This is a couple champions here, right? This is 2 champions that we're looking at right now. NaDa has won a number of different championships leading up to this. It'd be kind of hard to go into all of his different accolades at this point. I guess I'll look at it and I'll talk about it anyway. But GoRush is no slouch at all. He won the 2003 OSL, right? Which I'm just looking at the stats. Like it didn't have a name, I guess, a sponsor. So he actually he's an OSL champion. He won silver in the KT Premier League in 2004, which was kind of like a Star League, basically. So, you know, he's a very, very solid player. Extremely solid player. He's also currently participating in the MSL, Golf King MSL. And doing well in that too. So, which is kind of ongoing at this point in time. This is in January, I believe, of 2005. So, in any case, GoRush, really, really solid player. I would just want to emphasize that, like, you know, NaDa is the Genius Terran, but GoRush is like so good that, you know, he was considered basically, I think, one of the best Zergs of like 2003-4. Didn't win too much in those years, but he was able to take championships and able to beat the top players. So, you know, definitely a solid player here. Now, NaDa, I guess I will go ahead and look up his stuff in the background here while we're getting this started. This is the weird map with the semi-expansion within your main area, by the way. But yeah, so NaDa, he won 2 Star Leagues in 2003. He got 2 silvers and a bronze in 2004, right? So, also extremely solid player. Maybe even more solid, you could say. NaDa, of course, won like basically every Star League in 2002, though. Gold after gold after gold after gold. So, not quite in the height of his form, or maybe he is, but other players have caught up to him, might be another way of thinking about it as well. Fell off a little bit in 2003, only winning a bunch of silvers and only 1 gold in 2003. But NaDa is an absolute legend at this point. GoRush is just really good. Wouldn't quite call him a legend yet necessarily at this point in time. Anyway, enough ranting about the past, although this entire series is from the past, so, you know, I guess there's that. We got Lings coming across the map here, and they're going to catch this Marine, and we could have a very quick game number 1 right here, because these Zerglings are running in. NaDa does have 2 barracks. Can he protect those Marines? He does get 1 Marine back behind the SCVs. It was only 1 Marine. 2 of the Marines actually were able to be killed off by those Zerglings, so this is a nice rush by GoRush. And he's had to pull a lot of SCVs to make this happen, by the way. Oh, he's going back in for more damage. The Marines are now exposed again. He's going to run them back just in time behind the SCVs. Brilliantly done by NaDa. He has to pull the SCVs to basically block so the Marines can fire from behind the SCVs to kill off the Zerglings. But only a couple of Zerglings have died so far. And here's the thing, GoRush, he made, it looked like 8 Zerglings, but then he's double expanded behind this as well. And by the way, I should clarify the expansion within your base. There's two maps that describes. One map from the last season is the one where there was like the weird high ground expansion, and then there was like the half mineral patch one. This is the map where there's actually like 1 choke point, and then there's like a second base inside that big choke point, but outside of your main area. So GoRush has expanded to that location, and he's also put his 3rd hatchery in the choke point that we were talking about, and he's actually going to throw away these Zerglings. That is not a very good move, actually. He kind of needed to at least get speed upgraded before he tried to do that again. That's a little bit sloppy that he kind of ran in. Maybe he just underestimated the amount of Marines that NaDa had there. But in any case, apologies that I was trying to look at stats and hype these guys up a little bit, so I missed it a little bit. I wasn't paying enough attention to notice the rush that GoRush was doing. But I think it's important because this is a semi-final matchup, and we have potentially 5 games that we're going to be watching here. So we want to make sure we have the context of where these players are coming from, their legacies going into the semi-final. It's a very important thing to understand because this is a pretty big match for both these players. You know, you win this series, and you got a medal automatically, even if you you know, show up and drool for 3 games in the finals. You still get 2nd place if you win this matchup. So very, very important here. NaDa pushing up with a squad of Marines, by the way. It looks like a Firebat and a Medic are trailing behind. And here's the thing: is he's killed so many Zerglings that he knows he can do this. GoRush should have Zerglings on the map right now that are able to kind of counter this, but instead his Zerglings have all died a little bit carelessly, so NaDa could push out very boldly. He's actually going to stim in before the medic even gets there. He's going to stim right past the Sunkens. He's going for the kill. He's going to go past the defenses. The Firebat goes down, and that is actually really huge because the Firebat can single-handedly kill off basically all of the Zerglings that could spawn out here. A 2nd stim goes down. He's going in for the kill. This is almost an all-in because he's actually used a half of his health just stimming to get in here, but he's killing a lot of drones. The Zerglings come in as well. He kills off the Zerglings. Zerglings hatch right on top of the Marines. The Marines are almost all dead, though, from the stims, and the Zerglings do polish them off. That one medic coming in late, being killed off by the Sun colonies, was actually a huge deal. If the medic, if he'd waited a moment longer, I mean, that's the thing, is if he waited a moment longer for the medic and the Firebat to catch up, then he would have been able to go in as one squad, but another Sunken would have been finished and the Zerglings would have been spawning. So he knew he had to take that opportunity. An absolutely bold strategy here by NaDa, stimming his Marines past to try and get some kills. Now, he did kill a number of drones, and it's interesting we actually see that GoRush is now spawning primarily drones. Once he knew that he had that situation taken care of, I think as soon as he made those 6 lings in his main, which he knew would be enough to kill off 5 undefended Marines, or 6 or 7 perhaps, that were low on health, he started droning instead, which is a smart move because he did lose a lot of drones in that attack. Just absolutely crazy attack there by NaDa. It almost worked, you know, if they'd gone a little bit differently. Again, if that medic had been a little bit faster. And it's kind of interesting because he kind of got baited into it, right? He's like, oh, well, he doesn't have any Zerglings. I can move out on the map without medics. Oh, a little bit of bad stim. Actually, the medic's going in and taking some damage. He's going to try it again. This time, only 2 Marines getting through, but he's got 2 medics with him instead, putting the pressure on, saying, you know what? I know that you've been droning because you're a smart player. You would drone up after this. You would depend on your 2 Sunken colonies to save you. And so he's going to instead go past, and there are no Zerglings here. He's having to desperately spawn some Zerglings, but 2 medics and 2 Marines was going to be able to dispatch those couple Zerglings very easily. He's going to get a couple more drones, and NaDa is the absolute king of micro with small squads, and he's showing it off right now. Look at that, blocking with the medics. The Marines going behind the supply line. The medics getting in front as well to form a blockade. The Marines just going into the little bunker, basically, of minerals and medics, and now I think he's finally going to be able to clean this up. No, look at this! He's running one Marine around in circles while the other one shoots! NaDa is an absolute genius! Oh my god, he's defeated several Zerglings with just 2 Marines and 2 medics. The drones are coming back in here to try and fight as well. NaDa is just going to town with just 4 units. He stimmed these by. He's got 4 units in the base. So much damage being done by 4 units alone. And he's just microing them like crazy. I think there might be too much stuff now finally with the drones and the Zerglings coming in here. But this is absolute havoc being wreaked by these Marines. He still gets another drone kill there, I think, at the end. Or maybe it was a Zergling kill. Absolutely amazing. Look at this. He's powered up so many Marines in the background as well. Kept on top of his macro while microing like a fiend inside GoRush's base. Oh my goodness, this is why NaDa is a legend. This is why NaDa is the subject of so many highlight reels. And think about, he had to make so many Zerglings there, and he lost so many drones, he lost so much mining time to 4 units. To 4 units in his base. Imagine if he'd made a few Zerglings instead earlier, blocked those units from getting into his main, and GoRush sends a scouting Zergling in there to see what's going on and sees the doom that awaits him. Because NaDa is now pushing out with a super huge chunk of Marines. GoRush is trying to put down some more Sunken colonies desperately. Look at this. 3 more colonies going down. Are they going to be up in time? NaDa is preempting the Mutalisk harassment and just pushing out on his own. Zerglings are being created, but the mutas are very expensive, so he's not able to make a lot of Zerglings at this point. And look at this, NaDa is defending his base as well. This is all on one base, by the way, so if NaDa doesn't win here, he's going to be at a severe disadvantage. But he does have a lot of units here. He's going to stim in. A couple of the Sunkens are not quite in yet, but they are going to morph in the middle of this fight. The Zerglings are just inferior, and the mutas are not really out yet. Only a couple of mutas are out, so he can't really join in. But there's a lot of Sunken colonies, and NaDa is going to try and squeeze by again, but instead all of the Marines are dead. He doesn't even finish off that Sunken colony. NaDa had a huge, huge force, but just mass Sunkens were able to do the job. And there's a couple Sunken colonies, and he could have focus fired a little bit better as well, because we see 2 Sunken colonies at half or lower health, means that one of them could have died. But that's really not the big deal right here, because what the big deal is that GoRush has killed off all of those Marines. NaDa now forced to be on the defensive as mutas fly across the map. No, it's only a handful of mutas, because he did have to spend a lot of money on Sunken colonies and Zerglings to defend that push. Still a handful of mutalisks are good enough to harass. He needs to be very careful though here. There's a free SCV. He doesn't take it though. Just kind of poking in, seeing what he can do. NaDa does have barely enough to kind of defend against this muta force. A science vessel's out actually, which if he's got a radiate nearly finished, then that's going to be a really solid defense. It might even kind of save him. You might even say, because NaDa is kind of on the back foot now, losing a lot of forces there. I mean, he stimmed in and was able to take out, what, 1 Sunken colony? 1 Sunken colony dead, a handful of Zerglings, and maybe a couple Mutalisks. Not a lot of kills to be bagged in exchange for, what was that, like 18 Marines and 4, 5, 6 medics, something like that. So NaDa kind of losing early and then winning early and then kind of throwing away the advantage that he built up against those Sunkens. Might have almost been better off running by the Sunkens a 3rd time actually. I like how NaDa is hiding his science vessel in the back, making sure it stays safe until it has an irradiate so we can actually be offensive. And there's the irradiate going off. He pulls it off pretty quickly, actually. Very nicely executed by GoRush, being able to pull that muta out. Look at this, a hidden base in the bottom left of the map. And even if it's not hidden, it's just so far away that NaDa cannot really actually go after that. Now, he does have siege tanks out, and he needs to be turning around. He needs to protect those tanks from the mutas, and it looks like he's still going to continue pushing forward, though. It's gonna. I mean, this is very typical Terran play. You push out with what you have, and then you just keep your rally forces behind as a clump to defend. Because if you rally across the map, the Zerg's gonna pick off your forces piecemeal. And it looks like we might be setting up for a counterattack, though. GoRush has lurkers out. He's got mutas. He's got some lings as well. NaDa is sieging up within range to start killing off. Now, the injuries dealt to those Sunken colonies are now a big deal, but there's the counterattack. The lurkers are coming in. The tank is in a bad position. It's going to get stuck against an SCV. It can't retreat. Wait, is he going to be able to save that tank? It looks like he is going to save the tank. That is huge. The tank plus the comm scan is able to start taking out the lurkers, but he's losing all of his Marines. The Mutalisks are going in, but the Mutalisks all died to the turrets and the Marines, and the 1 tank is left. He's going to be able to shell those lurkers. It looked like a counterattack that was going to be a deadly blow initiated by GoRush, but it's somehow defended by NaDa. An absolute genius for sure. And oh, he's moved in. He's going to kill the tank. The turret is right there. The turret and the tank are both necessary to kill off the lurker, and he saved all of them. No, he doesn't. He finally kills off that tank, but the turret is still alive, and the SCVs actually polishing off the lurker. The counterattack has been dealt with, and NaDa's going in for the kill now on the front forces here. Scourge coming in, barely not killing that vessel. Actually, one of them did land. The second one didn't. Now we have a desperate defense being mounted by GoRush. Now, again, if GoRush does defend this, he's going to win the game because he's got way more bases than NaDa is. He does kill off the tank. He kills off the tank, which is crucial to killing off the lurkers and the sunken colonies. And I think GoRush might have done it. I think he's done it. There's very few Marines left, and the Zerglings are going to come in and trap everything. The Scourge are going to finish off the vessels as well, and he has done it. GoRush has defended. Now, his counterattack didn't kill NaDa, but it did cripple him. Look at that. He's even just now re-landing his barracks, meaning he hasn't been producing Marines this whole time on those barracks while they were flying in the air. Imagine if barracks could produce Marines while they were flying. That'd be crazy. So now, yeah, look at NaDa has nothing left. This counter push by GoRush is going to be the game winner, I'm pretty sure. NaDa at one base just cannot, with only 3 barracks, just can't afford to deal with what GoRush has with 3 bases and, of course, extra macro hatch and tech as well. So this is just looking really, really solid. GoRush opting to kind of do a little bit of a mild contain, put those lurkers out there just outside of that choke point while he mounts up this final attack, not choosing to go in for the kill right now. And I mean, there are vessels, there is a tank out now, so it's not a sure victory. So I think it does make sense to just kind of say, okay, well, look, we've already seen NaDa, you know, take a winning advantage and kind of throw it away a little bit. GoRush doesn't want to do the same thing. He says, I'm going to just contain you. I'm going to get multiple bases going. He's got a 4th base going up at the bottom middle position. So, yeah, he's just going to kind of contain NaDa here, get the advantage. Once he has Defilers, which are, you know, about a couple minutes away, then that's going to be all he really needs to defeat this. NaDa has pushed out to his, like, bigger choke, so he can defend against an expansion if he wants against an expansion. And actually, oh, I didn't even see this. NaDa has gotten a sort of semi-hidden expansion. Oh, no, here we go. GoRush says, you can't move out, buddy. I'm going to come and counterattack you. So many lurkers are in play. The Zerglings going in to deal the damage and provide cover for the lurkers as well. So NaDa looks like was trying to push out here. Okay, what is going on? Is he distance mining? Is he mined out at his main, so he's forced to distance mine? I thought maybe he'd built a hidden base on that, because there's a spot of vision on the top left of the map, and I thought maybe he'd built an expansion there or something like that that he was sending it out to, but he's actually just distance mining with his SCVs, which shows you what desperate situation he's in. NaDa knows that he can't afford to just be contained. He needs to do something before Defilers are out, so he is pushing out right now, but it's kind of a desperate counter attack here. I mean, it is a strong push. It's not nothing. And these vessels are doing a good job with the tanks of taking out the lurkers so that they can't get into an overwhelming amount, you know. I still feel like GoRush has the advantage here, though. But another lurker goes down. He's actually irradiated or tank shelled several lurkers now. That's a lot of money that's been killed off. Here we go, though. He just doesn't have the Marines. He's falling back to the tanks, but there's mutas in play as well. And the mutas are spread out. The Zerglings are going in. They're attacking the tanks, and I think we're probably going to see the GG as soon as these last tanks and Marines go down. The lurkers are able to get in close and kill off the last Marines, and there we go. There's the GG. Wow. What a game. What a game. GoRush goes up 1-0 in the semifinals. And this series is turning out to be just as epic as I would have expected, as I did expect from two champions duking it out in a semifinal match. NaDa looking very disappointed. I think he's kicking himself right now because he did have that in the bag. He had that in the bag. He had that advantage, and he had just so many Marines. Oh my gosh. Let's just go back and remember, see if I can find it. This squad, the 2 Marines and the 2 medics, microed just absolutely to perfection. to their maximum possible, maybe even beyond their maximum possible potential, you know, beyond what you would think of as the maximum potential for a squad of 4 units here. Just absolutely ridiculous play. And this, remember, all this is just so distracting. Look at that. 6 or 7 drones are not mining, in addition to the 2 drones that were killed early on. So many Zerglings created and killed as well. And I think GoRush didn't quite take it seriously. He made, like, you know, a few Zerglings. He's like, I'm just gonna make a few Zerglings, right? He could have easily just run all of these units out and then waited until he had like 8 or 10 Zerglings and then attacked, right? But instead he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna attack this with drones. Or no, I'm gonna run my drones away. I'm gonna attack with a few Zerglings. Now some of these Zerglings were killed on spawn, obviously. But here he comes in. He's like, I'm gonna attack with my drones and a handful of Zerglings. Nope, it's NaDa. It's NaDa. You can't do that. You need more than a handful of Zerglings. Look at this. Normally, going in with the drones and attacking with 4 Zerglings would be enough to kill that, but it wasn't because it's NaDa. Absolute genius. Anyway, so after that, he has this giant force that he comes in with. I guess we missed it here. This force here, this is where NaDa is set to win the game, basically. And he kind of throws it away against these the sunken colonies, unfortunately. So in this situation here. So I'm just going back to say this is why he's kicking himself, because of this attack against just too many sunken colonies, and got a little bit too bold there, thinking he'd just go in for the kill. And you know, it was really close too, because if you look at this situation, this is when he attacks. This many Marines against 4 sunks, right? This 5th one in the background can't quite reach. This many Marines against 4 sunks makes sense. But 4 sunkens turns into 6 sunkens after just a moment. Actually, I guess 5. And then the one in the background, in the back here, is able to start attacking. So 6 there. And he actually, that was just a creep colony morphing. So, but still, you know, it was pretty close. You know, I don't blame NaDa for going in that many Marines against 4 sunken colonies without much reinforcements. But with the mutas there, and the extra sunken morphing in just in time, managed to hold that off. So that's where, and it was all just downhill from there. NaDa just was on the back foot from there on out. So anyway, amazing game number 1 for the semifinal match between NaDa and GoRush. Just absolutely amazing. The magician versus the genius. We'll see how this series continues to play out in game number 2. Thanks for watching.